All right, and then I'm gonna get comfortable. All right, so who are you and what do you do?
My name's James Earl. I make art history My name's James Earl. I make videos on YouTube about art history and hopefully in an interdisciplinary way where I bring in lots of different kinds of information. And I teach full-time as a middle school teacher.
Nice, nice. So what got you onto this whole YouTube thing?
My students. Back when I taught high school, I was teaching a class in the history of mathematics, and I was using a bunch of number file videos and some other YouTube educators. And my students asked if there was anything like that for art history, which is generally what I teach. And I said, not really. So they said, well, you have to do it then. And they helped me build the whole thing. I had no idea what I was doing. So I'd never edited a video before. I'd never recorded audio even. So they helped me build a logo. A kid wrote music for the channel, and they just helped me start the whole thing up, show me how to upload things. I started using iMovie, and we collaborated together, that group of students and I, for about 2 years, and then they all graduated and went on to bigger and better things, and so now I'm a one-man show.
Nice. So they got you to start doing it. Were they the target audience to begin with, or were they like, you just need to put this on YouTube?
Yeah. My target audience to begin with was literally nobody. Like, I just wanted to make cool things with interesting people. So yeah. I found my students were really interesting, and they knew things I didn't know. So they had better math than I do, or they were more apt at physics than I was. And so I was like trying to find ways where we could do both things, like teach physics through art history, or teach geometry through art history, and use their skill set plus my skill set and combine them and do something cool. And I just like making stuff with interesting people. That was the motivation, so I didn't have an audience in mind. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like that's a good piece of advice for a YouTube creator to say, like, make content for one person, or just for your group of friends or whatever, because there's going to be other people like you that'll enjoy it. And it might be only 15 other people, or it might be a million other people, but that's cool.
Nice. So Amor Sciendi has been around for how long?
Since 2012, so okay. About 4 years, I guess.
Cool. So you just mentioned this a little bit. You are a teacher, which kind of puts you in not really a different field than a lot of the folks who do YouTube educational stuff.
Yeah.
But do you find that, like, is there a community of YouTube EDU folks who are teachers?
There is. Yeah. We're meeting up in a little bit, but there's a whole group of us. It's Paul Anderson, he lives in science, and Patrick JMT, and Tom from Science with Tom. There's a pretty good group of us now. It started off as there were edutainers, the big time YouTube EDU folk, and then there was us that just sort of hung around, and now we're building like a critical mass now. There's say like 25 of us now or so, where we all know each other and give each other best practices. We got a Slack network where we communicate with each other. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that you guys kind of have like an informal support group, I guess.
Yeah.
How does that, like, so if you, let's say that you decide to do a topic, and you mainly do art history, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever do anything that's not art history?
I do other things through the lens of art history.
Okay.
Social commentary about technology in San Francisco, but through a painting from France in 1870. So,
okay.
Something like that.
Do you ever, so let's say you have a question about something that you think one of the other teachers might be like, oh, hey, do you have any thoughts on this, or do you have any experience with this? Like, can you just like call them up or hit them up on the Slack and say, hey?
Yeah, for sure. Particularly, I'm primarily a historian, but I like doing things that involve mathematics. So every once in a while, I'll have an idea about like fractal dimensions in Jackson Pollock's work or something like that, to see if we can work something out. And they're really responsive, and they're really willing to help each other out. I mean, it's a group of teachers, so we're all pretty empathic people who want to help all the time.
Nice. So as an educator, do you get, I've heard this is the case, I know that some of educators on YouTube, they get a little bit of support from YouTube itself. Is that the case with you, or?
I mean, they helped me out early. I was one of the next EDU gurus, so I got a little bit of help getting equipment and them pointing me in the right direction, how I should improve my production value and so on. Haven't had much since, but recently it's picking up again. Like recently they want feedback more from teachers.
Nice.
And I think it's because they some of the dreams of YouTube meeting you 4 years ago haven't happened yet when everybody was sort of expecting it to. And so now I think that they're asking for more feedback about best practices, how YouTube could be, it's not going to solve all problems of education, but it definitely could serve a role as one of many pillars holding up an ecosystem of education reform and helping out in some way, like being supplementary material. And I think that they're starting to realize that, so yeah, they're starting to get more feedback from YouTube.
Awesome. Let's see. Do you have any big plans for Amor Sciendi in the next year or so?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I've been a little bit slow with my uploads recently, but I have a new strategy where I'm gonna write a bunch of scripts over the summer and then build the videos out. And I'm trying to. Over this summer, I'm actually building a curriculum with one. So it's Amor Sciendi before this has sort of been one-off video essays about certain things, and this summer I'm focusing on just doing American history through artifact and architecture.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a big series. I've got 3 written already. I'm hoping to get more like 10, 15, and then have that be almost something that could support Crash Course U.S. history, but through a visual lens, like visual identity of American history.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to play around with getting into commentary on young adult literature, because I've got ideas for 3 scripts on Harry Potter.
Sweet.
And literary themes, so reader entrapment and positive norms, and ethical centers, Christ figures, and tropes like that I'm going to use Harry Potter to teach. So I'm going to play around with the literature as another format, because I feel like those 2 things are complementary. It's like there's a narrative of humanity through the visual side, but then there's a narrative of humanity, literally through the narratives of humanity. The literature produced at certain times always reflects its time period, just as a painting do. So I feel like it fits the theme.
Very cool. Very cool. Last question, just to wrap things up. Do you have a sign-off for Amor Sciendi, any kind of canned phrase? Or...
I have a sign-on where I begin all my videos with "All right, cherubs," and that's because when I taught high school, I would start every class with "Cherubs, get your bags off of the desks, quiet down, let's get started." And so when I was starting this up, and the students were helping me figure out how to do a YouTube channel, they said it's very important that you have something that people can make fun of. Because if there's nothing to parody, Liehard had so say you're sitting in math class, they're like, you need something that people can parody and make fun of, and it's a sign. So I was like, what should it be? And they're like, you know what it should be. So I just started saying "All right, cherubs" at the beginning of videos.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, that's it. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you later.